Alright, so today we're going to switch things up and we're going to work on my wife's 2006 CRV. We're going to replace the rear rotors, brakes, and calipers, and the rear shocks. It seems fine now, but when we take our trip to Costco and we load up the back, it sags really bad. I figured they're old, you know, they're 15 years old or so. Might as well replace them. I'll probably do the front some other time, but today we're going to do the rear. So let's get started. I'm only going to do one side, and then obviously the other side I'm not going to record just because it's the exact same thing. Let's get started and jack her up. Alright, here we have our rotor. It doesn't look that bad, but they've been grinding. Maybe it's just the other side. Looks like somebody drilled out the set screws. This thing's pretty rusty. And there's the shock we're going to replace. Let's get some WD-40 or penetrating oil and spray everything down. Alright, we got everything soaked with WD-40. I guess the first thing we need to remove is the brake line from the caliper, and then the actual caliper bolts. There's one here and one down here. And we're going to put some vice grips on the brake line, that way we don't get a bunch of air in there. This is a 11 millimeter. And the vice grips will keep it from leaking out everywhere as well. And next we have the caliper bolts. We got the top one. Now let's get to the bottom one. Alright, let's get this rotor off. I can feel in the back that there's some grooves. So the back isn't great. The front feels pretty smooth. We'll show you once I get it off. As you can see, all the grooves, it's all the way around. This right here is the emergency brake pads. They're shoe or drum brakes. Basically, it pushes on the inside of the rotor when you pull the emergency brake. And I probably shouldn't have touched it with my dirty hands, but oh well. And I probably should have just replaced these two, but I didn't. So it's whatever. Alright, let's get the new rotor and caliper and brake pads. Here's our new one. And our new caliper. This thing's really nice, and it matches the front ones that I painted red. And our new brake pads. And this one without the little bracket goes on the outside. I guess we should unscrew this thing first. We can screw our bracket back in. Alright, now we can slide our brake pads in. We got number one. Goes in the front. Then we have this one that has these little hooks. They will go into the piston. Alright, it's in there. Bit of a pain in the ass, but it was. I think I'm gonna have to unscrew that. You can't just slide it up. Let's unscrew that one. Alright, and it just slides right into there. Now we can put our top and our bottom bolt back in, and we can tighten it down. Now we need to get our brake line reconnected. And there are two washers. One goes on before the brake line and then one after. The caliper came with new washers, so I'm gonna go ahead and use those. Alright, now we can release our vice grips. We will still have to bleed our brake system, but not much. Alright, new caliper, new rotor, new brakes. Now we're going to work on the shock. This bolt back here That is a 17 millimeter. All right, so we got that with our little bender tool and our impact. That's obviously not working. I feel like that bolt's gonna break. It just will not budge. I'm gonna spray it down with some WD-40 and do the brakes on the other side. Maybe let it soak for a little bit. So I bought this bug deflector thing for the CRV. Let's put it on. So according to the directions, it looks like it connects to the underside of the hood. There's a couple little things you gotta pull off. Let's get that connected up there. And it comes with a bag of extra little pieces. Alright, it was kind of a pain in the ass to get it on there. Comes with these little rubber bumper things. I guess they stick on the corners. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it. On the first gen it looks pretty good. I like it on the first generation. The second generation, I don't know, not so much. I don't know, we'll see what the wife says. Alright, we got it all scraped off and cleaned. Now we just need to put this on there. It's got some 3M backing on it. Just try to get it on the original spot. Alright, looks pretty good. Now to get this off, it was kind of a pain in the ass. You got to remove, you got to remove this cover right here. There's a bunch of little plastic snap pieces. And then right here were some screws over here and over here. And then down under here, there's like little clips, but you can reach down in there and pop those out. And then this thing slides out. Now it was a real pain in the ass, just because it slides under this lip all the way across. We're gonna clean that out too. On the back of it is a couple little nubs with the little, I don't know what that thing is. Some kind of like little ring you push down over it. These have the same thing. We're going to work on getting those out so we can get the OEM emblem off. Alright, so I basically just broke those nubs off. That way I can get these pieces out, and it fell right on out. I just pried it up a little bit from the front and it popped right off. Alright, we're going to clean this up a little bit. Alright, now we're going to peel this and align that in there. And now we're going to squash these things down over the little nipple that's inside. Alright, I guess that'll ensure that it'll stay on. And there we go. I think it looks awesome. Alright, so next we got a fog light kit for the front bumper, and we also have new headlights because this one's kind of new and this one is not. And also there's a tab here, but on the new one it's not there. So alright, so this is an SE model, so the fog lights are already there. And like I said in a previous video, I think this car had been wrecked at one point. Well, I know for sure it has, because this side has the VIN number and this side says made in Taiwan. Plus this headlight's been replaced. This headlight has not. So it's definitely been in a wreck. The front bumper has definitely been replaced. And when they did that, I guess they didn't replace the fog lights. So we're putting them in. In order to do that, it looks like I need to cut this piece out. Okay, yeah, it goes over here, and it looks like this clips into the bumper on the top, and then there's screws down here that hold it, and over here. So it looks like a pretty simple process. I'm going to get to it. Alright, so we got it out. I basically cut out big chunks with the Dremel bit, the cutting tool, and then I couldn't find my little sander, so I used this to ground down all the little edges. You know, it looks okay. It's pretty good. I wish I had some color match paint, but I don't. We'll have to do that at another time, but I think it turned out pretty good. Let's get the fog light installed and see what it looks like. Alright, it doesn't look horrible. I mean, it ain't perfect, but I figured the light would slide in from the front and then they would bolt in, but I don't know. But it was pretty easy to bolt in. You got 2 bolts there, 1 there, and then this thing connects into the bumper here. And you have these little pieces that you push in there and squash together. Pretty simple. Alright, and now let's do the other side. Alright, so here's the cuts. Basically, you cut it to that level and it'll break off. But my Dremel battery died, and I've got 3 of them, but you know, all of them are dead. You know, why would one of them be charged? So we're going to switch over to the headlights. I'm going to go ahead and do them. When I get the 2K clear coat, I'll just tape it all off and spray it then. So let's go ahead and remove these. I think there's a bolt here, and then a couple over here, and then there would be one here and here, and they're all 10 mils. There's actually one at the bottom right here. Alright, here's the new one. I'm going to transfer over the light bulbs and we should be good. Alright, we got our new headlight in. It looks really good. We're going to do that side and then we'll finish up on the fog light. Alright, let's test our fog light. Fog lights are working. The headlights are working. We still need to get the light that's in here. It's burnt out. As you can see, it works here, but over there it's burnt. And one thing I knew I was going to do is break some of these little tabs. And so I went ahead and bought this kit. It was like 35, 40 bucks. It might have been $30. I don't remember. But it comes with a bunch of interior plastic pieces to pry bars for the interiors. And then it came with a few of these things. And I don't know what all these things are for. But it's pretty cool. It was, you know, 35, 40 bucks. It was worth it. Alright, so today was pretty good. We got quite a bit done. We got our headlights in. We got our red Honda emblem, our fog lights. We got our new caliper, our rotor, and our brakes on both sides. One thing we didn't get were the shocks, just because I can't figure out how to get that bolt out of the bottom. So that's one thing that we need to get done, but it's not, you know, important, but something that is important. We have a new belt and is this the water pump? No, I think this is a tensioner, and we have a new power steering pump. The old one, the bearing that's inside here, it squeals right in there, and so it squeaks when it's cold. When it warms up, it's okay. But I went ahead and got a new belt, the tensioner, and a new power steering pump. But we're gonna have to do that on another day, and I'll make that a video all on its own to make a tutorial out of that. Another thing, we have an engine code that occasionally comes on, but it goes away sometimes. It's the, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like a valve around cylinder thing that goes in the intake manifold that spins at higher RPMs, that opens up or shuts. Well, that gets stuck sometimes. So I'm thinking about pulling the intake manifold off and fixing that. And while I'm at it, there's a knock sensor underneath here that seems to go bad sometimes. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that while I'm in there. But those will be totally different videos, and I'll probably not do that anytime soon. One last thing that I put on were rain guards. We like them. We put them on the first gen CRV, and I put them on my red wagon. So I stuck them on here. Turned out pretty good. Yeah, we just need to get some wheels for her, and should be looking pretty nice. But yeah, that's today's video. It was kind of quick, but you know, just some things we need to get done with the my wife's CRV. You know, just general maintenance stuff, and plus stuff to make her look good. So thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video.